All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Cam. We are here in Clifton, New Jersey today at Marcelli Formaggi, very Italian name, with Tina Marcelli. Tina, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
It's great to be here. So this is the first time I've ever had somebody lay out a spread for me.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not doing the cheese stuff till the second segment.
Right.
But this is going to be a tough first segment to get through because
Yes.
it looks really good. And I have had it in the past, have tried it, and I already know that it's going to be great. But okay, so we're going to learn a little bit about you, a little bit about the business and all that kind of stuff. So why don't we kind of do broad strokes view, what is Marcelli Formaggi?
Sure. So Marcelli Formaggi is a really cool, special thing. It is the absolute definition of a family business. We are the American Marcellis, if you will, that live here. And we import the very special farmstead cheese of my ancestral family who still live in the tiny town in Italy.
Okay.
Where we've lived as a family since the 1500s.
1500s?
Yes, the absolute 1500s.
Really?
Yes.
That's wild.
And maybe even longer, but maybe they weren't keeping records before then.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. 1500s.
I agree. Yeah, it's enough clout there.
Yeah, right. If you said 1400,
it suffices.
After that, it's really just kind of whatever.
I agree.
So what's the name of the town?
So our little town is Anversa degli Abruzzi. It clings to the side of a mountain. It is 2 hours east of Rome, and there's about 300 people that live there.
Wow. That's wild.
Yes. More sheep than human, I would think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I think that's kind of part of the whole, the farm and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of sheep's milk cheese, right?
Yes. Yep. It's primarily sheep's milk cheese. Our cheese is farmstead cheese, which means that it's only the milk of our own animals.
Hang on one second.
Yep.
I don't know what's up with that. All right. Technical difficulty, but we're back. So we just left off on where we were, the farm, right? The sheep's milk cheese.
Yes.
So it's, you say artisanal cheese?
Farmstead.
Farmstead cheese,
Yes.
not artisanal.
So
That's
anytime
wrong.
you see farmstead, it's kind of like a higher class of organic, so always go with that cheese because it means that farm only uses the milk of their own animals as opposed to buying that milk from another producer.
Gotcha.
Which is also fine. Sometimes people do that
Sure.
if they can't, it's not part of their business model to care for 1,000 sheep.
Yeah, it's a lot of sheep.
It's their right.
A lot of mouths to feed, for sure.
Yes.
Yes. But, okay, so I want to kind of take it, so 1500s, we're going to do the whole, the 500 years. Just kidding. So 1500s, living there for this whole time, family roots there. Take me through kind of the process of bringing it from Italy to here. The first steps that maybe relatives of yours or ancestors of yours have done to kind of help start what you have going on here.
Sure. Well, so this all starts about 17 years ago when we took a kind of, you could call it a pilgrimage back to this little tiny town. My dad's father, my grandfather, was getting towards the end of his life, and he wanted to take the whole family on a very special trip back to this town. Where his family is from, and wanted us all to kind of experience it and see it, because to that point, none of us had really ever been to Italy, I don't think. So I would say I was probably maybe 17 at the time, and there were 20 of us, 20 American Marcellis from, I would say, Jersey and New York City. So we arrived with no less than maybe 48 pieces of luggage. Now, again, I always like to say here, I only had one. I was 17. I probably didn't even know what to pack.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't know what to pack.
So I only had one, but like I said, there were some city folks, so there was lots and lots of luggage. And we arrived in the piazza of this little town, again, 300 people. So you got to imagine how small it is.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't know how the bus driver was able to get essentially like a Van Halen party bus in this little tiny town.
Yeah.
And get it in the piazza. But here we are. We arrive. The door opens, I would assume in slow motion, and out spills 20 Americans and all of this luggage. And everybody has to figure out who the heck we are and where are we going to put all this
so
luggage.
There's nobody there that knows that you guys are rolling into town. Or kinda.
Our family knew.
Okay.
but
the other people.
we've never met them before.
Oh,
We have no
right.
idea what they did for a living or who they are really.
So you guys get off the bus, they're probably just like, Jesus, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
I'm pretty sure, I saw some shutters being rolled down or closed, but the cafe guy was definitely very happy. So, we eventually get up to the farm and we meet our family, and it was a wonderful meeting. We sit down, we have a meal, and they come out, they introduce themselves, and we're presented with this cheese, and we're thinking, oh, how wonderful, they've purchased this for us, or they've gone to the market, and then to realize that it's not only their cheese, their animals, their land. I think it was probably 6 hours we were there. So, we kind of left this whole beautiful trip saying, how can we keep this connection going? This is really special. And so, we kind of thought about it, and what are we going to do? Donate a bench in the piazza that says Marcelli? Well, they're all Marcelli,
right.
So but my dad's a chef. He's a James Beard chef, and he's kind of the dreamer in the family. So this was his idea. He said, well, we're food people, we're city people, we know the industry and we know chefs, and no one's ever seen cheese like this, so
right.
we have to.
Yeah.
We have to do it.
Because you have a background in the culinary world too, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a pastry chef.
Okay.
I went to CIA. I graduated in 2008. And I spent maybe 6 or 7 years in the city as a restaurant pastry chef. Loved it. Loved the hours in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then kind of eventually, you want that Saturday night back. You talk to a ton
Sure.
of chefs. That's part of it. So then I found my way to joining the family business, I would say maybe 7 years ago.
Okay. All right, cool. So so you have all these different items now, but I'm sure that wasn't the case maybe at the very beginning, right? So like what were like the first few things maybe that you brought over here and kind of presented those to, because you sell it primarily to chefs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So take me through like maybe that process and like what the first few things and kind of were like, hey, check this cheese out or whatever.
Great question.
Yeah.
So the first thing to know is that it took us 2 years to convince my family to even do this.
Oh, okay.
Because they said, it's America. Why?
So this is the Italian family.
Yes, absolutely. And very traditional Italian.
Right. We're good here.
Way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Thanks but no thanks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, really, you really should consider this. So that's the first thing is that it took 2 years. So we started with the cheese, obviously, and then soon thereafter we found the little honey family, also in Abruzzo. Because that's the region that my family is from.
Okay.
And it's kind of still a relatively unknown region. Everybody knows Tuscany or Umbria, but you say Abruzzo, and it's kind of what?
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of help to put it on the map. And I'm sure anyone over there is listening is going to say we don't.
Yeah, we don't want to be on the map.
We don't need you to help us be on the map, but we just wanted to bring awareness to it. So. Started with the family cheese and then the honey, like I said. And what's great is that there's a real ultimate terroir thing happening because the flowers that these bees are pollinating are what these sheep are eating.
Crazy.
So it's just
Yeah,
a beautiful,
that's awesome.
Blow your mind kind of connection.
Yeah.
So those two things were first.
Okay. And then, but you also have, I see olive oil on the table.
Yep.
There's pasta over there. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, I imagine eventually kind of all those things,
yes.
Just make sense that we're selling Italian products.
Exactly.
Olive oil, pasta, you got to
Yep.
do that too. Is that also from the same area?
Yes, so we only import from Abruzzo. So we say solo Abruzzese. The third family we found was the Marcelli family, not Marcelli, Marcelli, but we like that it's very similar. For bronze cut pasta, and they've been making this pasta since 1867.
What's a bronze cut pasta?
So bronze cut pasta is one of my favorite things to talk about. It really has to do with the die. So the die is the disc that screws onto the pasta machine.
Yep.
So if it's agnolone, fettuccine, it all depends on the shape of the die.
Okay.
So the dough is pressed through and then either cut, or if it's a longer piece, it's a longer piece. But basically, that's how you get that really classic texture.
Yeah.
And, really kind of ensures a perfect al dente cook, because most commercial pasta is extruded through Teflon.
Okay.
So just like what you would
Sure.
fry your eggs in.
Yeah.
And that has to do with speed, really, just
Right,
for
just get it out.
production.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's usually quick dried, maybe 8 to 10 hours, and this pasta could be 18 to 24 hours
Wow.
slow dried.
Yeah.
So, it's really, really special pasta. I used to think all pasta was the same, but
Yeah, I think growing up, I mean, like, I'm Italian. My grandma's from Italy, and but we would just, I'm not even gonna give free ads to other pasta companies, but we just buy the box pasta,
Right.
And then it wasn't even I made homemade pasta one time, and I was like, and not a chef, but I was like, oh, this is actually way better, And then I would imagine something like this, where it's taking the time to do it the right way and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Probably a totally different experience. So, Marcelli Formaggi as a business selling to chefs, was that something that was well received, kind of out of the gate, or was it kind of just you had to prove yourself almost? How was that?
Well,
how did that go?
I think basically everybody has had everything, or every chef thinks that I've seen it, I've been told that,
Right.
You have the best, great. It's lost, it's lost all of its meaning, I think. So that's always a hurdle that we have to get past.
Sure.
But and I wouldn't even really, I wouldn't classify us necessarily as salesmen. I mean, I do sales for my company, but it's mostly I'm just excited about it,
Yeah.
So when I meet with a chef, I'm just like, guy,
Right.
are you fucking ready to try this? Are you ready?
Yeah.
And then
it's
usually
speaks for itself to a certain degree.
Yeah. And I usually kind of feel them out, because my favorite way to go through them is profanity and swearing, because they're really just that good, and it kind of just naturally comes out. So depending on the chef and what else they're dealing with,
Right.
kind of dictates that. But
Sure. Yeah. No, that's great. And then so we mentioned before, primarily selling directly to chefs and restaurants and stuff like that. But I was on the website, I told you, clicking around last night, and was you can go on and buy this stuff just as a normal person.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is cool.
Yes. So, really first and foremost, we are wholesale to chefs, cheese shops, specialty shops. But then, yes, absolutely, we have this whole e-commerce side, which is wonderful, because it's great to be able to send cheese or pasta to California, Florida, Texas, Maine. It gives, you don't have to be a chef to get these products, or even know how to use the products. So
Yeah.
we have a great online following. You see the same names popping up all the time,
Yep.
and it's a great feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then also, just out of curiosity, now that you said 17 years ago you make this trip, right? And then you get involved 7 years ago, but it's kind of been going, it took 2 years after, so 15 years.
Right.
This has kind of been a business, I guess. Has their perspective or opinion in Italy changed on it at all? Because I would imagine this is something that's totally not in their wheelhouse, or maybe it probably is now, but something that's just totally different way of life that they're because now they're producing all this stuff to send it over here so that you guys could sell it to more people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great question, and I'm pretty sure they've had to purchase a few more sheep, possibly, to keep up.
Yeah.
Because we place cheese orders from the farm every couple weeks.
Okay.
And this is an item we fly this over. So it's packed up on the farm on a Monday, driven 2 hours by a Marcelli to Rome, put on a flight, and then it lands here. It's cleared by customs, and then a Marcelli picks it up and sells it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else comes by sea.
Gotcha.
Because
well, this, it's going to go bad. You got to get it here.
Yes. This is, raw milk, super, super rare cheese. The only other thing we fly over, the sole exception, is the olio fresco.
Okay.
Which is the very, very first batch of the new harvest olive oil every year.
Okay.
So our whole thing there is that family basically presses the olives, takes it off the trees, presses the olives, bottles it within 48 hours. So we don't want to stick that on a container coming across the ocean. We fly that also.
Okay, cool. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to take our first break because I'm ready to try it.
Geez.
I'm pumped. So this is our first break. So this is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We're here in Clifton, New Jersey at Marcelli Formaggi with Tina Marcelli. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, Mike Ham here. I hope you're enjoying this episode with Tina Marcelli of Marcelli Formaggi in Clifton, New Jersey. To learn more about the show, myself, or to listen to all of our other great episodes, make sure you head to greetingsfromthegardenstate.com. And if you like what you hear, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a review on your favorite listening platform. Now, let's get back to the show and try some cheese. All right, we're back for segment 2 of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We're here in Clifton, New Jersey at Marcelli Formaggi with Tina Marcelli. So first segment, we kind of learned a little bit of the backstory of how, from basically like the trip that you guys took together to where we are now. We have like this wild spread on the table. And I guess we're going to try some cheese now?
Yes, only 13.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. So this should be a great episode or a great segment of this episode. So why don't we first, because we kind of touched on it, you got the pasta, the cheese, the honey, the olive oil. Is there anything else that you sell?
Gluten-free.
Okay.
Really great gluten-free pasta. Something special called mustacotto, which we'll talk about.
Okay.
Some jams, alimentari kind of pastry, pantry stuff, some olive wood. So
okay, cool.
Tons.
All right. So why don't we kind of talk a little bit about what we have here?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this
where do we start?
This is our cheese product line, being as how we and they are very Italian. Things don't change that often.
Sure.
So, that's kind of what's beautiful about it. So we always start here. This is the juniper smoked ricotta, and then we end with its cousin, which kind of you can see for yourself is coated in red pepperoncino. So we start kind of sweet and we end really spicy, but immediately after we have some honey.
You just eat the honey right out of the jar?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready. So
great.
What do we do first?
So the first thing is, to be really authentic, is I pull a, is it clean, is it rusty, kind of scary knife, and you say, geez, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And you just don't know. So we're starting here.
Okay.
And also in very authentic, it's got to be off the edge of the knife.
Do I eat it off the edge of the knife or just grab
it like that?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is ricotta al fumo di junipero, which is smoked ricotta with juniper wood.
Oh.
So it's go ahead and get in there while I'm talking. So it's 60-day aged raw sheep's milk that they cold smoke overnight with juniper.
You could taste it.
Beyond.
I
can
smoke.
Swear, right? I can swear.
Yeah, you've already done it already. So.
Okay, well, I know. I was like, maybe one is okay. We could just.
No, it's a Jersey podcast.
Okay,
that's what happens.
Perfect.
This is really fucking good.
Yes.
There you go.
Holy shit.
There's one.
Yeah, this guy is beautiful. I love the way that it cuts. It really lets you taste the milk.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is, like your shirt, you've got a barbecue shirt on. So this is less of a barbecue smoke. It's kind of more like incense. So it's just on the background. It's not overwhelmingly smoke, but it's a stunner.
Yeah, that's a great way to start.
Yeah. 100%. So next one, again, off the back of the knife.
Of course.
With the blade facing up as well, is really how they do it. So this one now we're switching to cow. So this is ricotta pizzata rossa with chives.
Okay.
So pizzata rossa is red cow. So this is the red cow breed.
So the cow itself is red. Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe Auburn, but
okay.
I'm not going to correct any Italian. Sweet cow's milk, a little bit different than the first one.
Yeah.
This is a great springtime cheese, spring and summer. It's also a stunner. Beautiful.
Basically just chewing into the people's ears. I don't think I've ever actually had, before meeting you, have ever had sheep's milk cheese. I know this is cow, but have had sheep's milk cheese before this. And it's really good.
I agree.
But you can,
Agreed.
I feel like, I don't know if it's just because of a different kind of cheese, but it's like you can feel like the texture of it is a lot different. And then as far as like lactose, is it different sheep's milk to cow's milk?
Yes.
Great,
So
because I'm lactose intolerant.
perfect. Okay, I was going to say this earlier. Yeah. So anytime somebody says that they have a lactose intolerance, I'm like, I got you, because it's different proteins.
Okay.
So anybody who has that issue can have sheep's milk cheese. I believe it really mostly just sits with cow's milk. So you are good.
Yeah.
Although I'm realizing ahead of time I did not forewarn you about cow. So
I'll be fine.
Okay, there's two. There's only two.
Usually
or three.
cheese isn't bad. You know, it's other
Oh, well,
stuff.
thank God.
Right.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
how could you
favorite
live?
people are I have friends again with this issue, and but they're not scared. We'll go out for pizza, and she just pulls out her Lactaid and just pops it every so
Perfect.
often. And I'm like, you're my people.
Yeah. It's 'cause, like, how are you going to say no?
Yeah. Whatever happens later, I'll deal with it.
Right, exactly.
This is right now.
Yeah. Living in the moment. Yeah.
So to that point, let's live in the ricotta pasita moment. That's this
ricotta
next one.
pasita.
Yes. So this is another raw sheep's milk ricotta. This one is usually a little longer of an age, 60 to 90 days, but it's got that beautiful color because they coat it in olive oil and then they press dried mountain herbs on the outside.
This is really good too.
And then it's parchment and then it's aged. So it really kind of permeates and that super herby flavor gets inside.
Yeah.
And a little bit of spice. Did you get the little bit of spice?
Yeah. Like you taste like the olive oil. And definitely the herbs too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that one's fire.
Chefs love this one.
Yeah. And so like something like this, what would they use this in?
Great question.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So, definitely pasta dishes.
Okay.
Really any hot entree. Definitely salads, and
Yep.
of course, as always, on a cheese plate.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say to chefs when I do a tasting, because sometimes I get that question. Well, you know, what would you do with this, or what would I do with it? And we always say, these aren't just cheese plate cheeses, because sometimes a cheese plate gets forgotten about,
Yeah.
you know, or maybe it sits on the bottom of a dessert menu. So it's, you know, you really kind of want to use these type of cheeses in more of a central way.
Yeah.
But again, there's nothing wrong with a cheese plate.
Of course.
I mean, we are having a
I'm cool with the
massive cheese plate right now.
And then, so I guess like cooking with it, like the sheep's milk cheese, it acts just like a normal cheese. Like
Yeah.
if you were gonna make, I don't know, like a chicken parm, could you put sheep's milk cheese on top of it?
So I'm laughing because I know my one specific cousin, Viola Marcelli, who basically runs this farm now. She would be going, "Oh my God, Americans and chicken parm." I'm like, Viola, it's delicious.
Yeah,
it's so
it's
good.
like anytime I go to like a new,
Yeah.
not anytime, most of the time, if I'm gonna go to like a brand new Italian restaurant, I'm not really sure what I want to get, and it's not like, you know, crazy Italian restaurant. You know, chicken parm. I feel like if you can do a good chicken parm as an
Agreed.
American Italian restaurant,
Right.
you got it.
Fully agreed.
You know,
fully
if
agreed.
you can't, then I'm not going to bother with anything else. You know?
So I would say, all the cheese, it all melts. You know, obviously these guys are going to be, they're going to end up more creamy just by they're so much younger
Sure.
than the guys in the back.
Okay.
But really, you know, these are shavers, and
yeah.
these are sprinklers. We got the shavers and the sprinklers, and maybe
perfect.
even the smearers.
Yeah.
It's lots of
Like a spread.
S verbs, yeah.
Yeah. Smear, shred, what?
Smears, sprinkles,
Oh, okay.
and shreds, not shreds.
Shaves.
Shaves, yes. I was like,
All right, we got it.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. So, yeah, lots of different ways.
Yeah, awesome. All right, what's next?
Okay, so we've got our fourth ricotta.
Okay.
This one is one of my favorites. This one is ricotta scorzonera. So scorzonera means black skin. So in this case, it's a mold from the cheese cave.
Mm-hmm.
But this one to me is beautiful because it's a little bit spongy.
Yeah.
Sheep's milk, usually again about 60 days. but a little bit of blue.
Yeah, like
Isn't
it's
that
kind of like a
wild?
blue cheese, like a blue cheese.
Just the faintest bit.
Yeah,
I love this cheese.
that's really good.
And look how funky the outside is.
Yeah, it doesn't look like something you would
I know.
eat. Right, honestly.
Yeah. I always
That's
love
really
when
good.
when the little bit of red pops out. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's how you know it's
Now
good.
we know. Yeah, we're there. We're
okay.
there. So yes.
So
this
these are
is-
all. I know the second one was cow, but these first 4, and I know we have 9 more to go.
Yeah.
So these are all ricottas.
Yes.
Okay. And it's crazy, like just like how subtly different they all are, but they all have like a very distinct flavor, I guess.
Absolutely.
And I think the olive oil one might be my favorite so far.
Awesome. That's a solid choice. It's a very
Yeah.
respectable choice.
Or the first one, because
Nice.
it's just like
yes,
the staple.
It's classic.
Yeah.
So the breed of sheep that my family have, it's
That's a good
it's
question,
called
too.
the Soperfisana breed. And it's a very ancient breed used in Abruzzo, and this breed produces 1/5 of the amount of milk as a normal breed of sheep.
Okay.
So from a business standpoint, it's kind of, well, why would you do that? You
Right.
know? But the resulting milk is highly concentrated. I believe it's even like thicker.
Okay.
So that's why the cheese has so much flavor.
Yeah.
Because it's the super concentrated milk. Also the fact of what they're eating. So these sheep just really graze the mountains. And they only eat what is flourishing on those mountains. So we've had the milk tested, and I believe they've identified about 100 different wild herbs and flowers and different grasses in the milk, and
Yeah.
that's all that it is. That's all that
That's
they're
crazy.
eating.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why they taste the way that they taste. So this next one, we're going to get a little crazy for a second.
Okay.
So this is Pecorino Fiorello. Yeah, you're doing well with the tip of the knife.
Thank you. I haven't cut myself
Not even
once.
flinching at all.
No. Eye of the tiger.
Yes. So this one is crazy. So it's a pecorino. Like, for example, these in the back are pecorinos. You
Yeah.
always see them more aged, firm
Sure.
cheese. So it's a pecorino because it's sheep's milk cheese, but it's combined with 20% goat yogurt.
Oh.
Did you think I was going to say goat yogurt?
No.
Right?
No.
So the goat yogurt is a byproduct of one of the cheeses that we're going to try in a second. But they, of course, authentic Italian, they don't waste anything. There's no such thing as waste over there. It's such a beautiful way of life.
Yeah.
But this cheese is wild.
Yeah.
So my good friend, Chef Arian Duarte, loves this cheese.
Okay.
Loves it.
It's really good.
I think she eats it like an apple. She puts it on her eggs, salads, chicken
Yeah.
dishes.
Well, it's like a pecorino, well, because it is, but it's like sweeter, and like, because normally it's like you said, aged, and you just kind of like grate it. Yeah. What was the other word we were trying to think of
Right.
before?
Why has that word disappeared?
I don't know.
Shred? That's
Shred.
not the word.
It's great.
Yep.
So, and it's great, but yeah, it's like a different kind of like texture, I guess, because like I was expecting it to like be like dry. Like when you eat a pecorino cheese, it's usually pretty dry.
Sure.
And this is not, and it's like
Right.
sweet almost too, which I feel like could be a yogurt thing.
Yeah. It's the goat yogurt. It's
Yeah.
wild.
That's crazy.
And this is also another one that gets really funky on the outside.
Yeah,
So we kind of just enjoy
it's like marble.
watching it morph and change into a funkier and funkier cheese.
Yeah. So like this first funky one that we had here.
Yes, ricotta scorzonera.
Yep. That one ages for how long?
That one's usually about 3 months.
Okay. And then this one here, the pecorino, is how long?
That's probably also 2 to 3. These are kind of
Okay.
all
In the
this
same
whole
ballpark.
first set. Yes, they don't really go above 3 months.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
So we're switching to cow.
Okay.
Alert. We're switching to cow, and we're kind of mellowing out for a second. So
Okay.
this is Caciocavallo Pizzata Rossa. So Pizzata Rossa is also the breed that was the first
Okay. The red cow.
chive. Yep, exactly. Red cow. So this is a very beautiful, straightforward Caciocavallo cheese, sweet cow's milk. Kind of just really lets you taste it. Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. Solid.
Yeah. Just like not a lot of stuff going on. Just chill.
Yep.
Yeah. So like this that we're doing here, this lineup, is this kind of like what you would do for a chef.
Exactly.
And like, there's a reason why I guess you start where you start and then you end.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, this is the exact setup. We always do it in this order. And yeah, we're basically having a chef's tasting. It's just you're not being stopped by people telling you something was forgot to to be ordered,
my
or
camera died
something
before.
just crashed and burned in the corner. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's kind of like that, I guess,
Right.
just a little bit more low key.
Right.
Yeah.
A little more technical.
Yeah, and I have no restaurant, so if you're trying to sell me, it's not gonna work.
So this one is also caciocavallo.
Okay.
Which is that shape, right? So
Yeah.
caciocavallo is it's the pasta filata family, so that just means stretched curd.
Okay.
So like mozzarella, but more.
Yeah.
So this one, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
like look how funky this is.
It doesn't look like cheese.
Funky this is.
Yeah.
I love it. So it's the same exact preparation, but a different age and different cow as well. So this is caciocavallo Podolico.
And you eat the skin on this.
Yes.
How come it has like the ball on top?
So
Is that like hanging?
Yeah. So that's it's a stretched curd cheese. So
Okay.
like Scamorza or like this little guy. It's it's like Baby Bear and Papa Bear, I guess. Oh, shit! I can use that. Baby Bear. Thank you.
No problem.
Mama Bear, and then this is Papa Bear. So basically, they're forming it, and then they'll tie it off,
Okay.
snip it, and then it goes in the salt bath, and then they'll hang it. So something like a ricotta is pressed into a basket. That's why it looks like that.
Yeah.
And then a wheel, like a pecorino wheel,
Yeah.
also a basket. But these are kind of just
So interesting.
and they're formed by hand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's formed by hand. All of them. It's amazing.
Formaggi, it's by hand.
It's beautiful. It's a miracle.
Yeah. I'm gonna get canceled by Italians after this.
It's okay. It's fine. 15 years later, it's all right. We're still doing it. So this one is crazy. This one is very different than the last one. Again, different breed. But there's a very special enzyme in the milk of the Podolico cow that makes your tongue tingle. So you should actually start to feel that if you don't yet.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. I got it. But wildly different.
Yeah. But that's this one basically, kind of like sort of, but aged more. Yeah, or no?
So it's the same preparation, same class of cheese, caciocavallo, which is the shape and the knot. But that's the red cow, and this is it's a stark white Podolico cow.
Got it.
So the milk is very different. So you can kind of even see the difference. This is much more white, and this is very yellow.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But I love that cheese.
That's good.
So almost all of these come from my family on our farm, but we do also work with some other small producers in that area because it's a cooperative.
Yeah.
So this is we only get the Podolico and the Manteca, which I'll tell you about, from one producer, and it's a woman. And they call her the last cowgirl because she does her transumanza, which is the moving of her animals, from horseback.
Really? That's cool.
So she's like absolutely badass.
Yeah.
And she's further badass because it's a popular cheese. We'll try to order 100 and maybe we'll get 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And we're
wild.
like, thank you for those 22.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We'll take it. So, all right. So now we're going to go into, we've got 4 firm aged cheeses.
Okay.
So the first one we have is, I mentioned it or I alluded to it earlier. So this is Caprino Stagionato.
Okay.
So this is capra means goat. So this is Stagionato is aged. So this is an aged goat cheese, which is a little bit different than kind of how you're used to seeing or tasting goat cheese.
That's good too. I think I've also only ever had goat cheese like once, and I didn't like it. But I was probably like 12.
I love goat cheese.
Yeah.
Like Frank's Red Hot, I put that shit on everything. My boyfriend sometimes, he's like, really, goat cheese in my soup? I'm like, yup.
Yeah.
Did you know you can put goat cheese in soup? Well, I guess you wouldn't because you don't like it. But
No.
But listeners, try it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
This one's good.
Yep. So this has the byproduct that's turned into the goat yogurt that then is combined with the pecorino to make the Fiorello cheese.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm assuming goat cheese, similar to sheep cheese on the lactose side. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So my family has definitely at least 1,000 sheep, 1,200, 1,500, somewhere in there. And they have goats as well, but less goats. I want to say maybe they have maybe about 400.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, I had the pleasure of trying to move some of these goats down a mountain one time when I was not aware or told ahead of time. My friend Danielle from Jersey came to meet me there, and my uncle, right, Nunzio Marcelli, who's kind of like the famous cheese guy behind this. Hey, what are you guys doing today? I'm like, oh, we don't know yet. We haven't really formulated our day. He's like, oh, do you want to go see some animals? I'll give you a ride up there. I'm like, okay. We had maybe one water bottle between us, and I had like bullshit hiking boots that I definitely got from Mandy's, which is, if maybe you're not familiar with Mandy's, it's not wonderful.
Okay.
And maybe a granola bar or something. And
Perfect.
And suddenly we are 12 hours later, bringing a couple hundred goats down the side of an Italian mountain, trying not to fall to our deaths. And it was really, that was really an experience in itself. But we did it.
Yeah, that's great. My mom has 2 goats. And just, they don't produce anything. They're both boys. But, she's always trying to wrangle them, and there's no hills, but
right, and it's just too. I feel like they knew we were American, and they knew that we weren't in the greatest footwear. So they were like,
today's the day.
Like,
boys.
oh, we heard about you're from that family with the 40 piece of luggage in the piazza. Yeah,
right.
So cheers. This one is this is Pecorino Primo Sale.
Okay.
So now we kind of start what you could say is like a little Pecorino flight. So this first one, Primo Sale, first salting, only gets 1 salt bath, and it's very young for a pecorino. It's 2 months.
And the salt dries it out, I guess, to start that. Sorry, you can wait.
No, it's okay. The salt, the salt is flavor. The salt is for the exterior.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a quick bath. So.
I like this one a lot.
But it really lets you taste the milk.
Yeah, this I think is my favorite on the back end so far.
Beautiful.
I think. It's hard to say.
Nice.
Because they've all been very good.
Okay, we're going to go next to the next installment is Pecorino del Parco.
Mm-hmm.
So Pecorino of the Parks. So this one is 6 months. So we had 2 months. Now we're at 6 months. But it's Pecorino of the Parks because the name of our family's farm is La Porta de Parchi, which is the door of the parks. So parks, why?
Yeah.
So where they are in Abruzzo, again, the town is Anversa, but the farm basically sits right at the base between 2 beautiful national parks.
Oh.
So it's the door of the parks. But Abruzzo as a whole is called the Green Heart of Europe, because it has more national park space than all of Europe, basically. So It's very lush, very green, very, very pristine and beautiful.
I like this one. I mean, I just keep saying I like this one, too.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what else to say.
All right, well, the next one is my favorite.
On the whole board?
One of my favorites.
Okay.
So this is Pecorino Brigantaccio. If my friend Tim was here, he would say, Brigantaccio! This is his favorite. Tim of Silk City.
Okay, yeah.
So this is now 12 months. So we've had 2 months, 6 months, and this is 12. So this one is definitely funkier.
Yeah.
Always nutty.
Yeah. This is, I think, my favorite on the Pecorino flight. I think. So again, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because they're all really good, but they're all like so unique, And they're the same cheese, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. But they're all just kind of like
time.
Yeah. The nuances of them.
How are we on time? Because there's a story on the brigantaccio specifically.
We'll hang on to that. We'll just reset the camera so we can tell the whole story.
Beautiful.
About
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't skip the story.
Can't skip the story. Okay, cool. All right, so what's the story? And this is on this cheese, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to pour some water while you're talking.
It's weird, I just got hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so Pecorino Brigantaccio. Very cool story behind this cheese and the name. So Brigantaccio, brigant, means bandit. Do you watch The Office?
It's my favorite show.
Why didn't we lead with that?
I don't
That's
know.
my favorite show.
It's a great show.
Save Bandit, right?
It just goes through the ceiling.
Yes.
Oh, that's my favorite opening scene easily.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like it's like most people's because it's so great.
Beyond.
Oh, God.
I love. I mean, well, now we're just entirely derailed.
Yeah.
I've seen the series probably 20 times.
Oh, at least.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for saying that. So I want to. COVID ruined a lot of things,
Sure.
right? But I would say top of that list. Just kidding. I'm just being sarcastic. But bar trivia kind of stopped for a while. But
Yeah.
I used to go and like clean up
Right.
at office trivia, like it was my side hustle.
Yeah.
So I
That'd be-
need
Well,
that to come
when it
back.
comes back, let me know. And
I
we
was just
will
gonna say we're
dominate.
teammates.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
for sure.
good to know. All right, Save Bandit. So save Brigant.
Oh, that's right. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like how.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brigantaccio, Brigant, Bandit. So at the turn of the century, depending on who you asked, these bandits, this group, was either Robin Hoods or they were just shitty people, thieves.
Yeah.
You could say. But everybody mostly saw them as Robin Hoods. So basically, they were kind of nomadic. It was like a nomadic group, and Abruzzo is alongside the Adriatic Sea, but it's also very mountainous and has a lot of caves.
Okay.
So and switching then over to talk about shepherds. So being a shepherd, it's a very lonely life, you could say. So because you're taking flocks of animals out for long periods of time. You only kind of carry with you what you can. So basically, the shepherds would go to sleep at night, and then these bandits would steal their food. So again, are they jerks or are they Robin Hoods?
Right.
But they, and what does a shepherd always have but cheese?
Yeah.
So they would take this cheese, and then they would go into caves, and they didn't need the food at the time, but it was always Italian.
Right.
Thinking about food.
Yeah.
Planning ahead. So they really whatever they took was for their next time around this area. So they would take these wheels of cheese and they would put it at the bottom of a clay pot, and they would coat it with hay, and then they would burn the hay and stretch goat skin over the top. Right? What am I saying? All these strange things, right?
Yeah.
So basically, but by doing that, the hay would burn off the oxygen in the clay pot, and
Yep.
the goat skin would essentially sterilely seal it, and then they would just let it age for up to a year.
And they're hiding it essentially.
Yes, just
Yeah.
in these caves.
Right.
Way at
That's
the
wild.
back, I would think. You
Yeah.
know, maybe they marked it with like a
Right.
sheep or a handprint on the outside. So I'm sure they had some kind of way.
Some system. Yeah.
But then when they came back on their rounds, it didn't matter if they found more food because they had food there.
Yeah.
So my family found a way of essentially reproducing that exact method. So, but instead of hay, it's bran. So it's coated in bran.
Okay.
But still aged without oxygen, aged for a year, aged kind of in its own funk, if you will.
Wow.
But this is also a stunner. This cheese is wonderful.
Really good.
Yep.
Yeah. And like a year. That's crazy.
A year.
Yeah.
Yep. A whole year.
Like I'm not a cheese expert, but it's like I know that you can do that, but it just seems so wild that back then doing it like that, and then either they knew or they didn't know and it just happened to
Right.
age it for that long or however, and that whole process of burning the hay and the
Yeah.
goat skin or whatever. Like, how do people think of that stuff?
I know honestly a lot of times when I eat foods, how
Like, how do we wind up here?
Yeah, who was the first person that thought to eat a pineapple, or
Right. Yeah.
the crazy
Or make
spikes
chicken parm.
or make chicken parm.
Yeah.
And did they know what they had?
Right.
When they had it?
No,
You know.
definitely not.
Jeez, yeah, we need subsequent episodes.
Yeah, on like a history of food.
Okay, so now this one.
All right.
How is your spice level? I'll go first. Mine's not great.
It's like okay.
Okay,
It depends on how spicy we're talking.
So this is the sister. This is the evil sister, if you will, of the first smoked.
So we made it to the end of the board.
Yes, we are at the end of the board, and then we have one bonus hybrid.
Oh, cool.
Unicorn cheese to
Pump
try.
for that. Yeah.
Made from actual unicorns. So this is also raw sheep's milk, same as the first one. It's smoked, but this one is ricotta pepperoncino. So they make a paste from the peppers and some olive oil, and then really somebody on it. That's
right.
You know.
Yeah.
So then that's kind of sealed together and allowed to age like that. So it's a smoky, beautiful cheese. But not just spice, it's got that flavor too.
Yeah. That's really good. And like spicy stuff, you know, it's like hit or miss for me. But that's really good because it's like not, like you said, not all spicy. Like it doesn't overpower like the taste of the cheese itself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Also, chefs go nuts for this one. But I feel like almost every chef loves spice.
That's true.
I feel like mostly, you know? So, you know.
Well, you tasted so many things, you got to like excite your taste buds at some point.
Yeah.
It's like setting in a little bit.
I remember one time I was doing a tasting and, you know, we got to this point and it's like, I'm nailing it. It's going great. They're loving everything. And then I had something in my eye. And so I went like, and yeah, I know, rookie move.
It's your first
so
cheese tasting or what?
I know. I've got just a bright red patch of pepperoncino dust in my eyeball, and I'm just trying to not let on that this is happening.
Right.
And suddenly it just kind of starts. My eye just kind of like starts, profusely tearing, and I'm just like kind of. And so eventually he's like, "Do you need a second?" I do.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.
Thanks a
Yes,
lot.
I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were able to bring it back.
I like
sure,
that
that's
one.
not the first time he's dealt with that.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, that's where we end. And then this guy is kind of in its a class all of its own.
Yeah.
So if you want to it's like beautifully bulbous. And I normally hate that word, but I'm going to use it. Yeah.
This is bulbous.
Because it is bulbous,
Yeah.
but it's cute bulbous.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, bulbous can be weird.
Yeah.
But this is.
So this is manteca. This is what we call unicorn cheese. And that's because it's dairy inception, you know. So heads up, we're doubling down on the cow.
Great.
But basically, so this little guy, again, baby bear, I think is what we called it, is the same class of cheese as the Pizzata Rossa or the Podolico.
Okay.
But what's cool is that inside there's a ball of fresh butter.
Oh.
So they make the butter, they form it, they pack it, and then they just put this ball directly into some pulled cheese, and then they start to form it around, just form it around, and then they do that knot, and then they hang it, and it ages. So it's a very funky. It's a very funky thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also something where we order X amount and we get what we can get.
Right.
But, the way that we love all of our chefs, and I always say in a tasting, these are very rare cheeses. So sometimes I can't get all that I want to get. But, we always kind of say, let me know what you're going to use it for. And I'll kind of keep an eye on our inventory, and if I see it starting to get down, I'll give you a call, and that seems to work. That seems to work really well.
Right.
But we work with a lot of great people who kind of all understand what our deal is.
Sure.
So, like, believe it or not, so we were in the New York Times.
Okay.
And so Florence Fabricant said it doesn't get more artisanal than this.
So this is just cheese and butter, basically.
You nailed it, lady. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Unicorn butter. It's unicorn cheese.
Yeah. I mean, I know I just ate butter, but that's really good. Mm-hmm. Like who would even think of doing that?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's take cheese and put butter in it. Mm-hmm. So we were talking off mic before about this one, but so like, what would someone use something like this on?
So I've seen it in a in a fine dining New York restaurant, just sliced and served with really good bread.
That would
which
I love that.
loved that too. Oh,
Yeah.
and I believe smoked salt.
Ugh, come on.
I'm good. I actually don't need to order anything else.
Yeah, right. I'll be on there. I'm after this.
And then otherwise, a great way to use it is really just to slice it on like a beautiful ribeye.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of let it melt in, and then the butter kind of permeates, and then you're left with that cheese melting on top.
Yeah.
I mean, and then otherwise, I've also seen somebody grate it.
Okay. That's really cool. And like everything was so good, and that was like such a cool way to end it, because that was like, I don't know, like I've never even heard of something like that. Like I've
Sure.
seen cheeses with like stuff on them and whatever,
Right.
but just like tasting these and then getting there, like that was crazy. So thank you for all the cheese.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Dairy inception.
Yeah, I love
knew?
it. Mm-hmm. Right.
You wanna do a couple honeys?
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
still have like
so
the peppercini or whatever it is stuck in my
yes, well that's what,
stuck in my
yes.
throat.
I have it too, but like it's like a nice warm glow.
Okay.
Is what I feel like.
Yeah,
in the,
it's like one that's like just scratching me. Like
yeah,
we're
like we're sitting in front of a fire. We have velvet robes on. That's how
right.
I feel.
That's usually how I spend most of my evenings anyway.
Yeah,
so,
same,
yeah.
same. Okay, so these honeys are out of this world. I apologize because I'm also about to ruin you for honey.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So there are some dangers in what I do, and so I'm ruined kind of for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So this honey, it's all raw honey. It's kind of sad, but a lot of people, when they think of honey, they think of that plastic bear in the supermarket.
I literally have one in my house.
Right?
Yeah.
So, well, they're cute.
Yeah.
They're very cute. I won't take that away from them.
Yeah.
But it's not really honey because it's heat treated. It's kind of murdered to get it to the point where it's clear, and has
You could squeeze it out of a bottle.
exactly. Yeah, it has to
Yeah.
do with the viscosity. So here we'll stop. So this is sunflower, Soleil, sunflower honey.
Come on.
Jesus Christ. Right?
That's amazing. Does it come from a sunflower? Is that how that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't eat normal honey ever again.
Mm-hmm. You can chew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because like it's not like what I was when you had the honeys here. I was like, oh, it's gonna get all over everything. Because like when you use normal honey, if I make peanut butter toast with honey on it,
oh yum, nice.
it like gets all in my beard,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like my beard's all sticky.
Yeah.
Just nobody.
But of course, I never considered that.
Yeah.
My brother has a nice beard like yours, and now I have something to talk to him about.
Right.
Other than cheese.
I've said flavors
and
to savor
boats.
before, and some people don't like when I say that. Like a mutual friend of ours
Savor the flavor.
hates when I say that this is a
Oh.
flavor saver.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Some people have strong opinions, on certain things, like
yeah.
like me with the word bulbous.
Right. But we used it in this
We
episode.
did.
I'm pretty sure it's the first time we've ever used the word bulbous on Greetings from the Garden State ever.
You're
and this
welcome.
is going to wind up being like episode 51 or 52 or something.
I think that might have been the first time that I've even used it publicly. What I do in
Only
my own home
privately.
is not what we're
Right.
here to talk about. But so this is
one smells good.
This is great. This is Millefiori, so 1,000 flowers or just wildflower honey. My dad likes to joke that these are the hippie bees who just love everyone,
Oh my God.
equal opportunity.
It does taste like almost like a mouthful of sugar. Like the texture almost.
The like granules.
Yeah.
It's like goddamn candy.
Oh yeah. I can't eat normal honey anymore. I'm just going to go home and throw out my bear.
Well,
Like,
I
just
feel like
can't
that
do
could
it.
be repurposed. Your bear could like hold a sign in the bathroom, or like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that like, be a sweetie, wipe the seedy. Is that what it is? Do that.
Yeah, all right, I'll do that.
Do that.
It is
your,
a big
your
bear.
birthday just passed, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
All right, next year.
Right.
Okay, here's my actual favorite. I think I might have said the first one was, but
Okay. Well, it's hard when they're all really good.
oh my gosh. Okay, this is Sula.
Sula.
Sula. So Sula is an Italian honeysuckle, but it's a bright magenta flower. So this one, I call this one butter honey, because to me it just kind of has a mouthfeel of butter. But I also get lime and caramel in this honey.
That was my favorite.
Right?
Definitely.
Oh my God. And they're so different.
Yeah.
So
They come from the same basic place?
So, again, only in Abruzzo.
Yeah.
So
And the one family does the honey.
exactly. So it's also great because it's parents and children, just like Marcelli Formaggi is.
Yep.
Just like Marcelli is in Italy. So this also comes from the town of Honey, which is Tornorecchio. It's a beautiful place. It's literally called the town of Honey.
Yeah.
And they have every year the whole town gets together in the piazza, and they vote on that year's tile art installation that all has to do with bees and honey. I mean, it's like, sometimes this stuff, I'm like, all right, stop. You know what I mean? Like, it's too good, it's too much, we get it, okay,
Yeah.
Organic, rare, beautiful, everything's better over there, But sometimes I'm just like, damn it, you know?
Yeah. All three were so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, they all come from Abruzzo, and basically the father, Luca, has what I would describe as like a little school bus that he kind of just sawed the back half off of, and that's where all of the boxes go.
Yeah.
Right. So he takes these bees on field trips. So he knows, the castagno honey. So that's chestnut. Okay, that flowers in October. Sunflowers July. Sula, I think, might be April. So it's just this perfect science of nature, where he just brings the bees to what is flowering at the time.
That is
and then
unbelievable.
lets them do their thing. I know. Again, it's like lets them do their thing. Then they come back and they go back to the facility or the office. I mean, it's
right, the bee office.
That yes.
Yeah.
The bee dorms, if you will.
Sure.
Right. So that the whole magic happens, and then basically the process of getting the honey out of the combs, right?
Yeah.
Is wild. So. So you go there and they're putting the boxes, the cones, kind of in this. It looks like a big like a butter churner.
Okay.
And it's a hand cranked. I don't want to say machine because it's not. It's an apparatus. It's a hand cranked apparatus.
Sure.
That basically, on either side, it scrapes open all of the cells, and of course that wax is then made into other things because no waste. They're just better over there.
Right.
So then all those cells are open, and then it gets loaded into, this is the only piece of equipment, it's a hydrofuge. So it spins out the honey at a extreme speed. You can watch it kind of be expelled, and it's very cool. So then it goes down through, essentially piping to directly below is the mom and daughter with empty jars just feeding it, basically, and that's it, because it's raw.
So
it's
like
unfiltered.
these jars that you have on the table, someone was holding it underneath this machine and
pretty much
having it go in there.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's crazy.
Wild, right? Like, it hurts. It hurts
and
at times.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying before too. It's like the because obviously I'm sure they've been doing this for forever.
Yes.
And like keeping it within basically like their community and selling it where they can. But now it's like such a bigger scale, and they're probably really throwing jars into there like crazy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really been wonderful to bring some of these lines and these products and these families here.
Yeah.
Because if you even just take the Marcellis, for example, one, letting go of the fact that they didn't even care to deal with America in the beginning. They wouldn't have had any other way really to get it here without spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, we feel great, and this is certainly better than a park bench.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
know?
Yeah. You can't taste the park bench. Okay, so then what is this?
Okay, so this, I keep saying things are my favorite, but after, it's like when somebody asks my dad, what his favorite kid is, but he's got 3, so I think it's like whoever's closest.
Right.
Well, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm his favorite daughter, but there's only one.
Okay.
So
it's like I'm the favorite son. I think I'm the favorite kid. But,
yeah. Are you an only child?
No. I have a sister.
Okay.
She's probably the favorite, honestly.
So this is, besides the cheese, this has to be my favorite product that we import. This is, it's Presidium Mostacato. So you've probably heard of Vincato. What's the difference? I always get this kind of from a chef because, again, they've had everything. And I'm like, wait. So Vincato is fermented, like a vinegar.
Okay.
This Mostacato is not fermented. So it's the must of the grape. So basically, this is the famous Montepulciano di Abruzzo grape that is then reduced down to 1/16 of its volume and then aged for a little bit. So I'm going to make my second Frank's Red Hot plug here. I'm not sponsored, but willing.
Yeah.
Put this shit on everything. This is duck breast. This is gelato. Cocktails.
Oh, wow, that's
what do you
really
get?
good.
You like it?
Yeah. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, when I'm looking at it in the bottle, like a balsamic vinegar. It's kind of like the vibe that I was getting.
Sure.
And even when you poured it, but it's like really sweet. Not really sweet, but it's definitely sweet. But it's like, I don't know, it's like thick, kind of, like thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Viscous.
Yeah, viscous.
Viscous,
That's the
will.
word that I'm looking for. Yeah.
I love it. To me, it's raisiny, it's molassesy.
Raisiny, yeah,
yes,
definitely.
I love it. A lot of people, how would you use this? It's like, well, how would you not use this?
Right.
You
could put it in your goat cheese soup. I'm sure it'll be great.
I could put it in my goat cheese soup. You're so right. I mean, goat cheese, also put that shit on everything.
Right.
But yeah, those 2 things probably would go great.
Yeah, I just made that up just because I knew that you said the soup thing.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Professionally in your podcast.
Of course.
Great.
Yeah.
Doing quite well.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Are we good? Did we hit everything?
We did hit everything other than the only last thing, and the harvest is about to happen, is olio fresco.
Okay. So this is extra virgin olive oil.
Yes. So this is this is huge. Every year we take pre-orders, usually starting about 6 weeks out. What's special about this is it's the first pressed, very, very, very first of the new harvest.
Okay.
So and you're taking this home. I mean, spoiler alert, you're taking a bunch of things home.
Oh.
But we're going to open your bottle.
Thank you.
So, olio fresco, olio novello, fresco, novello, new, fresh. But if you just take a second, just look at how green that is.
Yeah.
Even up there.
Yeah.
So this is from the Ursini family, and they are in Chieti, which sits right on the water, right on the Adriatic. These olives grow right next to the Adriatic.
So we're taking shots of olive oil right now?
We are.
Love that.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers. So,
Okay.
it should slightly peppery on the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you cook at home and you get similar to the bear, like just an olive oil.
Sure.
It's like whatever brand olive oil, and you're just like, man, whatever. And then then you cook with it and you're just like, oh man, this kind of sucks. But this is really good.
Oh yeah.
It's more subtle, I think, and just this viscosity compared to other olive oils, I feel like is a lot different too. Yeah. I don't know.
Sure.
That's just me.
Yeah, it's it's beautiful olive oil. It's very fresh, and it's interesting that it still has that kick when it's August. So this is still the 2021 harvest.
Okay.
Because the 22 hasn't happened yet. Like I said, that's usually September or October. So it, and this really is an oil. We sell it year round, but it's it's something when you get it.
Yep.
You want to use it.
Right.
I've kind of given this to people and then, gone back over their houses months later, and it's somebody actually had it on their mantle one time, and I'm like, this is an honor, and this is really great.
Yeah.
But you have to eat it. You have to use it. You have to enjoy it.
So this is like, we gotta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I guess it would kind of lose its not lose anything, but not be as fresh.
Yeah. It kind of rounds out, mellows
further away
out
from
a
that
little
first
bit.
harvest.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but
Amazing.
yeah, this is the Olio Fresco.
Well, I'm
And
excited now.
Somewhat completes some of the Marcelli Formaggi products.
Yeah, that's awesome. We went way over time on that segment, but that's okay. This was great, so thank you. So we're going to take our second break, and we'll come back, do a quick wrap-up, talk a little bit of community stuff,
Sure.
and a little bit about how people can find you, and then we'll wrap up the show. So this is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We're here in Clifton, New Jersey at Marcelli Formaggi with Tina Marcelli. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Hey there, Mike Ham again. Thanks so much for supporting the show. If you enjoy what you hear and want to help us keep the show going, head to buymeacoffee.com/GardenState. Just a $5 donation to the show goes a long way helping us travel around the Garden State, bringing you the best of what New Jersey has to offer. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/GardenState. Now let's get back to the show. All right, we're back for segment 3 of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm Mike Ham. We are here in Clifton, New Jersey at Marcelli Formaggi with Tina Marcelli. So first segment, we learned the backstory of the business. Second segment, which everyone hopefully listened to the whole thing, can listen to me chew in their ear the entire time. We did a sample of cheeses, a sample of honey, the Mustacco Presidium. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
And then
close
the
enough.
Olio Fresco, too. So everything was phenomenal. But in our final segment, we're going to go kind of quick just because the second segment was a little bit longer. Final segment, we always like to try to tie it back to something with the community. And we were talking about it off mic before we started. And you do something not necessarily in Jersey, but in the city at Penn Station. Can you tell me what that is?
Sure. So a lot of people don't know this because we don't really, we don't have to. That's not great. So we supply
We'll fix that.
sandwiches. No, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
We supply sandwiches every single day, 365, to a bread line in the city, which is St. Francis of Assisi Church right by Penn Station.
Okay.
So there's kind of a high concentration of homeless in that area. And my parents belong to that church and have volunteered there for years and years. So maybe about 10 years ago, that church lost their producer of these sandwiches. Again, my dad, the dreamer, the idea man, kind of said, "Hey, why don't we do this?"
Yeah.
And so it's what we do, and we're still doing it to this day. Every single day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, we're dropping anywhere from 300 to 600 sandwiches.
Wow.
For them to give out.
Every day?
Every single day.
Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So there have been major blizzards and snowstorms and Christmas mornings and all that kind of stuff, and we're
Driving
still
them
there.
in?
Yep.
Putting them on the train and sending them in? How does that? Yeah.
No, we so every day it's our driver with
Okay.
a delivery van.
Okay.
And they're dropped off there, and they
what kind of sandwiches
alternate.
are they?
I thought you might ask that. So
do they have these farmstead cheeses on them?
No, they
right.
don't.
I'm sure they're better than just
I
don't know.
yeah, we have like a chicken parm.
Okay.
You would like that one.
Yeah.
We can make you one. So we've got like a chicken parm. We've got and we do all the slicing here. So it's salami, turkey, ham.
Awesome.
Chicken breast. So
Yeah. I love that. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then other than that, we work with different charities for some chef events. So I just did a couple. A friend of mine has the Red Meat Lovers Club. So I just cooked on a battleship in Camden.
Cool.
On an actual battleship.
That's
and
badass.
That was the coolest thing of my lifetime.
Yeah.
But I made a major mistake right in the beginning, and I called it a boat.
Oh.
And the guy basically was like, do you
Yeah.
have to be here? Because if you don't have to be here, you should just get the hell out right now. He said, it's a ship. And I said, yes. He
Yes,
said,
sir.
don't do that.
Yeah,
And I
right.
said, oh, God.
Crushing it.
But yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just, but yeah, so, we love working with the chefs in the community and doing stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, that's got to be really cool because I feel like, you're doing stuff like this, but then working with them just beyond being like, hey, buy my cheese, I think is always
Absolutely.
really cool because then you become, like, you develop relationships beyond just like a business transaction.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
And then, all right, so if people want to learn more about this stuff, if they want to go find this cheese, like what are some places they can go to go do that?
Oh, sure. Well, we're lucky enough that all the U.S. eataries carry our cheeses, which is great. So,
Okay.
if you're local around here, I would say so Van Hook in Montclair
Okay.
and Jersey City. They've got us. Another spot in Montclair, one in Rosedale too, Fairchild. So yeah, we've definitely got some store locations, but other than that, it can come right to your door if you just go to marcelliformaggi.com.
Okay.
Lots of double consonants there, but
Yeah.
MARC, hopefully, it should
figure it out.
should come up on
Yeah.
Google. But yeah, and we're always doing we always have sales going on and bulk pasta discounts and free shipping and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So.
And then social handles?
Sure.
Yeah.
At Marcelli Formaggi, and only at Marcelli Formaggi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Right. Just highly concentrated there.
Love that.
Yep.
Very on brand.
Yes.
Okay, so this was phenomenal. So I'll make sure that I put the website, make sure I put the social handles in the show notes so that people can go check it out if they want to get their own cheese and all these products are sold on the website, right?
Yes.
Okay, the
Yes.
pasta,
Yep.
that stuff, the honey, the olive oil, whatever. Awesome. So if you want to go check that out and go buy the stuff that I was just tasting the whole time you were listening to this episode, please do that. So Tina, this was great. I was
Awesome.
probably the best episode that I've done so far because I got to eat the
Yes.
whole time. So that
Yes.
was great. Yeah, so I really appreciate
Thank
you having me here.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
Of course.
This was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We were here in Clifton, New Jersey today at Marcelli Formaggi with Tina Marcelli. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.